what's this? New environment?
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Different, actually the same. This is just my office the other way around. I've tried to move things around in what is a very limited small space, and I've decided to start filming like this. I prefer it. I feel like it offers something different. It's got a wide angle lens at an angle, so it's not a square shape, but I kind of like it like this. I think the sound absorption's better, and I feel like it's a nicer just frame to look at. I am actually going to order some RGB uplights so there can be a warming light at the back. I think that might be quite nice to sort of finish the accent. But yeah, let me know what you think of this. I really, I feel quite comfortable. You know? I feel like this works. It is proper, like, you know, content creator, YouTuber, especially when I get those lights in. Might be a bit old for that, but who knows? I think it's nice. Let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to discuss Ben Chilwell's injury, very frustrating. Just as I did a video yesterday about our luck changing on the injury front, I will talk about that. And Court of Cider speaking about Victor Osimhen. Of course, you know, Jackson's got a couple of goals, Bruy's got a goal. But is it enough? Is it enough if Chelsea want to be this elite team moving forwards that get back into Europe that will want different striker options? You know? Lots to get into. So thanks for joining me today. And yeah, let's hop into it. So before we talk about Osimhen, we'll start off with Ben Chilwell. By the way, I was just using this website, X-Value, that I use for metrics and advanced data or scouting reports. I was looking at Enzo Fernandez, and I might do a video of like how good is Enzo Fernandez. Let me know if you want these kind of videos back on the channel, like sort of deep dives, statistic ones that can show you about, you know, the truth about these players. And I think it might be a little bit more interesting, especially considering Chelsea have been like, I don't know, like a figure of fun, I guess, in football media of late, of underperforming and spending a lot of money, that perhaps behind the scenes it's been lost actually how good these players are. Do you know what I mean? So I think it might be interesting to do a little bit of those contents, but let me know. We're going to jump into the Telegraph first to find out what's going on with Ben Chilwell, Chelsea's vice captain. I was going to say first choice left back, but we'll talk about that in a minute with like Levi Colwill making worldy assists and stuff like that. So let's jump in. Mike McGrath writes, Chelsea fullback Ben Chilwell is set to miss, wait for it, at least 2 months because of a hamstring injury that he suffered last week, in a blow to Mauricio Pochettino and of course England as well. Chilwell picked up the problem in the final moments of the win against Brighton last Wednesday, and Pochettino admitted, quote, "It doesn't look good." He didn't say brev though, but that's the kind of meme we're working with here. Ahead of the further tests on the problem, the Chelsea manager braced for his vice-captain to be out for several matches. It's understood that Chilwell faces at least 8 weeks. I choked on those words. 8 weeks, and could be sidelined further depending on how the initial steps of his rehabilitation goes. Why? Okay, so yesterday I did a video like about how, you know, Caicedo's just got a contusion, which is a bruise apparently. Mudrik's all smiley, walking around saying he's fine. Bruyne is doing interviews with Chelsea saying, yeah, no injury, just precaution. I felt good because all these players were, you know, hooked in that game on the weekend, on Monday. And I was like, okay, we're okay. We're not having Nkunku going down or Chukwuemeka going down with these long-term injuries, or Reece James going down again. Things are moving forwards. But our first choice Champions League winning wing-backs/fullbacks, and indeed now captain and vice-captain in Reece James and Ben Chilwell. These guys, man, I mean, praise the Lord, we've got Malo Gusto, and I guess Levi Colwill, and maybe even like Cucurella, who's looking more like a right-back than anything else he's been at Chelsea. You know? Because these guys, man, these guys! Yeah. He now faces a race to be back, essentially to be back for the Christmas fixtures, which is a busy period in English football, as many of you will know. The 26-year-old was ruled out of the World Cup last year with a hamstring problem. This kid, man, he can't catch a break. Before returning in February and playing regularly, while regaining his place in Gareth Southgate's England squad. Yeah, Southgate wasn't too great with him, was he? He started an England qualifier against Ukraine last month, but is set to miss the rest of the Group C campaign, with Southgate's team moving close to reaching the tournament in Germany next year. I mean, even if he misses the the qualifiers, he'll still get called up, man. Chilwell, because surely he will. Right? At Chelsea, Pochettino has been using him as a winger, not always though, but sometimes further forward from his usual left-back position, but he was in defence against Brighton when the injury struck last week. So just Southgate's options, it speaks about Kieran Trippier. Interestingly, talks about Levi Colwill, because Levi Colwill playing left-back for Chelsea and seemingly better and better. I don't think he was ever bad, but I think our biggest qualms and criticisms with the Chelsea manager was the fact how he's just not a left back and we have a really good left back. But he's getting better. And of course that game in the Fulham derby, the London derby, when he played a beautiful assist to Misha Mudryk, but generally has just been playing that role a little better, has got people thinking, maybe? But of course, if you had to choose a lineup tomorrow, I think I said it yesterday, I'd have, Levi left centre back and I'd have Chilwell left back. What will Chelsea do? Chilwell has been playing further forward this season, so Colwill was always likely to carry on being part of Pochettino's lineup so far. Marc Cucurella is in competition at left back, although he's been playing as right back. Of course, Ian Maatsen is also a left back, but much like Chilwell, he has not been used as a left back. Truth is, I think we'll be okay because we don't have Europe, sadly enough. Speaking of, both Arsenal and Manchester United lost in the Champions League last night against teams they very much should be beating. Of course, Galatasaray visited Old Trafford and beat them 3-2 with Casemiro being sent off. And Arsenal went away to Lens. By the way, Lens are 15th in Ligue 1 and there's only 18 teams in the French league at the moment. So that is really poor/fun from Arsenal. I did a reaction on Football Yannick, the second channel, speaking about this in a bit more detail. If you are interested in non-Chelsea content, do go subscribe to Football Yannick, the second channel. Alright, mate, but yeah, this sucks for Chilwell. It is, like I said, we're not playing in Europe. We've got one game a week. Levi Colwill looks fit as a fiddle. For now, if we win games, no one's going to give a ruddy what's so-and-so how we set up, as long as we... if we get goals out of people like Breuer, Mudryk, if we keep clean sheets, if Colwill's bagging assists at left back, let them cook, let them play, ladies and gentlemen. So that I think we're going to be okay with that. Let me know what you think about the Chilwell injury. It does leave us short of captains, though. I mean, Reece James should be back soon. I don't know when. I mean, he originally was going to come back before the international break, but will we see him for Burnley? I'm not so sure. Let me know what you think about that. And let's move on and talk about transfers. Yeah, man. Yeah. Victor Osimhen, again, an ever-developing story. We all know what happened with the TikTok stuff, the social media. If you don't, I posted a video about it a few videos back. You're welcome to go and watch. He has since, declared his love for Naples again. But Chelsea will forever constantly be linked with a striker until we start free scoring, I believe. Chelsea nearly bought a striker, by the way, in the summer. And this is before we had a really slow start to the season in terms of goal scoring. So this will only have made the work in the background with the sporting directors and the ownership more diligent or quicker or whatever, because they'll be thinking, well, you need to score goals to win games. And boy, howdy, we need to win games. Caught offside. 22 hours ago at times of recording, wrote this: Chelsea are emerging as the team in pole position for the transfer of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen for the summer. They are also considering other options up front, caught offside. Understands this is an exclusive written by Mark Bruce, or is it Bruss? Mark Bruss? Bruss or Bruce? Or Pru. The Blues have given, sorry my nose is running, I've used nasal spray for hay fever. The Blues have given potentially significant boost to sign Osimhen, as the clubs thought to be their main rivals for the Nigerian signature is expected to signing on a different forward next year. Most likely Rafa Leao or someone in a similar mould to Kylian Mbappe, who is currently out of contract at the end of the campaign. Chelsea are showing a strong interest in Osimhen, according to the sources, with close understanding to the situation, with traditional centre-forward looking high on the club's agenda. Yeah, I mean, I like Nico Jackson. I've done a video on him of actually statistically using their website X Value. The kind of the thing I want to do for Enzo, the next video in the series. He is a good striker. Breuer is also a good striker, but do they represent this like European Galactico figure that will just believe in themselves to score loads of goals? Sources have informed Court Offside that 2 Premier League players are also to Chelsea's liking. Unsurprisingly, Brentford's Ivan Toney and Brighton's Evan Ferguson. While Feyenoord frontman Santiago Jimenez is also monitored by Chelsea. Right. First of all, of course, Osimhen. Everyone wants Osimhen. He's an elite striker. He's young, but is he 24? He's in the Project 2030 limit, but he's still like a senior striker. Of course, Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney obviously isn't under 25. He's like 27, but they probably see an opportunity to sign him in January when he's got they have 18 months left in his deal, which is quite a good opportunity to get him for not as much money as he would have been for 2 years or over. It's kind of like when you get under 2 years, the price drops significantly. And yes, Ivan Toney's great. I would like him. Paul Winstanley, one of Chelsea's co-sporting directors, reportedly that we've seen and reacted to, is putting in work to try and create the relationships with Ivan Toney's camp. Evan Ferguson is just funny because it's another emerging young Brighton player that Chelsea will have to spend hundreds of millions on if they want to sign him. The 18-year-old Irish kid who loves a goal, basically scored a Premier League hat-trick already. But I would be so mindful of signing this kid. A, because it costs ridiculous amounts of money and that would represent its own pressure. I'm so done with dealing with Brighton as a rule. And it's a teenager who's just had a good start at Brighton. I just don't know, man. Let's read on. This paragraph left in this article. Osimhen was known to be too expensive for United, of course, prompting them to focus on Rasmus Højlund, who looks pretty good, actually. So if the 24-year-old is destined to move to England, it makes sense that Stamford Bridge is his most likely destination. This is, of course, Victor Osimhen. There have been no formal talks of the deal yet. Chelsea are set to hold meetings over their transfer strategy soon, while Osimhen's contract talks with Napoli are understood to have stalled. Yeah, probably because he fell out with them massively because of the peculiar TikToks that they were mocking their talismanic striker, which still blows my fragile little mind to this day. So let's talk about, do we need a striker? Well, of course, I think a really telling thing is to wait a little bit longer. I don't know if we're going to try and sign someone in January. Osimhen would be a summer signing. But Chelsea are clearly doing an analytical work to see if we need to buy a striker in January. And, of course, the January striker, the best option, and the one that would probably move and be worth a lot of money, is Ivan Toney. But there's a few things to consider. Well, there's 3 things to consider. And those things are footballers. I don't mean Ferguson, Toney, Osimhen. I mean Jackson, Breuer, and I mean Nkunku. Of course, Jackson and Breuer are relatively untested and haven't had the opportunity to demonstrate what they really could do as Chelsea's first team strikers. And this is kind of like for Chelsea holistically, because all the players in all the positions need to settle into the team, settle into the club, settle into relationships on the pitch with partners, strike partners, midfielders, before they can truly demonstrate what their ceiling is, what they have the capacity to deliver in this Pochettino Chelsea side. And that it goes for everyone, literally even like senior players like Sterling. Everyone needs to settle, everyone needs to know what's going on, who's inclined to pass where, what space you're supposed to occupy against what opposition, all these kind of tactical informations that you need to retain in your brain. And, and then once everyone's settled, everyone's drilled, then you can have a good look. Kind of like Guardiola at City style. Once he's proper, a settled team, everyone knows what's going on, and then you get assessed then. So of course Nico looks good. We can see he can combine well. He's good with flicks and 1-2s and give and goes, and his engine is incredible. Nico Jackson. Breuer is tall, but he's incredibly fast. Even though Jackson's not slow, I think Breuer is refreshing because he's going to be a big brute that just runs at you, and people don't like that. So of course Fulham didn't like it because they don't like fast young players running at you, whether that's Armando Breuer or indeed that's Mykhailo Mudryk. When Mudryk came off, we did lose something against Fulham. And of course they'll get better because they will be better coached in terms of how they general play. But even at the moment, just taking the ball and running at you, it terrifies senior pros. There's something about Armando Breuer that's really exciting when he can do that, and he is a good finisher. He is a striker, you know. So he's a good finisher. So he deserves a chance. And of course, Christopher Nkunku, he's like, as things stand, our Galactico, you know, superstar attacker. And we haven't had him in this season yet, you know. But that's what he is, you know. He's look at EAFC. He's our highest rated player in the Chelsea squad at 86, which is pretty sad. But you know, as much as we play a 4-2-3-1, we saw Pochettino play him as a striker in pre-season quite a lot, probably more than any other position. And I said like recently, if I had to build an attack now or a front six, I'd do Enzo, Caicedo, and Gallagher in like a conventional midfield three with a Caicedo in a pivot, Enzo left 8, Gallagher right 8, and I wouldn't play a number 10. I'd play a front three, and I'd literally play the same as we saw against Fulham on the flanks. I'd play Cole Palmer, who can come inside, play make, whip on his left foot. Mykhailo Mudryk, who looks like he's getting better and better and can just have devastating pace from behind. And then you've got space, you've got for a central player, attacker. And at the moment, I'd go for Nkunku because that's what Chelsea signed him. We need to remember Christopher Nkunku. Christo, right? He is incredible. Whether it's, you know, all kind of pundits, football pundits, analysts, excuse me, speak about this guy like, yeah, he's so good. Like, he's so good. Whether it's like Andy Brassel, Julian Orange, all these people, they're like, yeah, people are forgetting how good Christopher Nkunku is. Like, he is Chelsea's star. He's Chelsea's star. Of course, you could say Enzo Fernandez, World Cup winner, young player. But in terms of like star that you just you'd lean into to like, right, save us in this big game. Nkunku scored a Champions League hat-trick away at the Etihad against Guardiola's Manchester City. This guy has got aura. He is him. Do you know what I mean? I hate to say all this stuff the kids say, but it's true. So at the moment, I'd play him down the middle and say, look, man, you don't have to always run in behind us down the line. You can drop deep like a number 10. Don't worry. We'll have, you know, Mudryk running in behind. But you just sort of stay in the pocket and stay. You can run in behind, get in the 18-yard box and just finish off chances. He's the one you'd lean into to score goals. And if we played a 4-3-3, then we don't have a number 10. But you're not dropping Nkunku, especially if he's fit and in form. And then you suddenly have Nkunku, Jackson and Breuer. Do you need a centre forward? Do you need a striker? Do you need it? Put it out to you guys, man. And that's another player I could do a video on for, you know, Nkunku on this X value. I think that would be a really good video to do, actually. So I must write a note to do that. Let me know what you think, though. I think it's really exciting to have these players come back, and it's cool that we are discussing options. The owners, the directors, they want to solve problems. They're willing to do whatever is needed, essentially. So I'll be very keen to read your comments down below. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Keep it locked, of course. Daily content here on Football Therapy, and hopefully see you back here very soon. Peace.